So I know we have helped a client with a event that they had. It was a more consultative approach, and they do need to stay anonymous. It's a little white labeled blinded study, but we would like to talk about it. So like, what was the story? How and why did this particular client come to us?
Right. So they were having challenges with staffing at the vendor side of the project, as they were in between agencies at that moment. And so we came in to consult and to fill in the gaps where necessary. It was an interesting situation because it was quite last minute and all the media was already in market. So we had a schedule for various additional flights and refreshes, etc.
And by flights, you mean like paid media campaign releases? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. We completely lacked background, and there were a lot of gaps in asset delivery, etc., because there was not that phase where we were able to set up workflow, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of challenges, but it was overall a really interesting case study and a very fun project to work on, because we were able to collaborate with the clients to create these solutions and to kind of make the best of what we had available to us. And it was also interesting to try and integrate the client almost as part of our team from a more technical project management standpoint. They were able to contact us via Slack. They were fully integrated into our ClickUp organization, which is our project management system, in a specific workspace that was created for them. And then we pivoted too with that. At some point, it wasn't the ideal solution for everybody on the client side. So we used a tool that was completely new to our team, but that the client team was comfortable with.
Right.
Because it also depends on which side of things is currently struggling to catch up. It's going to be a different side of the team depending on the part of the project that we're in. And it's really great to be able to pivot workflows and processes as needed as well.
Yeah, I totally just got a mental image of like a train getting a little shaky and they're like about to run off the rails. Like you don't want to actually take the train and put it on new rails. You want them to stay on the same rails and just make sure that it's smooth and it's not actually going to crash. Exactly. So I actually didn't know that we switched softwares to something that they were more comfortable with. I think that's a huge point. Like we can't just come in and strong arm and be like, we do things this way actually, so you need to as well. Like we are there to support these people.
Yeah, I do think it's really important to establish that very open line of communication between the points of contact on each side. So me stepping into the role of the account person for these projects, I always want to make sure that I'm offering the client every opportunity to even have daily touch points, even if it's for 10 minutes, if the project hits in its highest kind of volume at that moment, and it's just helpful to realign and to make sure we have that transparency, and also for the client to feel comfortable to say, hey, this and this is not fully working for us. Because sometimes, something is really working for us, but we need that from the client, the feedback from the client, in order to be able to further cater to their needs and pivot towards them.
Yeah. And what services did we end up providing them?
Oh, it's one of those great opportunities where we were able to engage all of our disciplines in some capacity. So we were focusing on media, and that's the most common part of these sorts of engagements. But we were able to bring value with other disciplines, which worked together with media and ensure that the deliverables between the different disciplines complement each other and inform each other, which I think is always really cool, where design can inform media, but also can inform the web team on the client side. And then SEO can inform the kind of language that we use in our media engagements and in media campaigns in general.
Now, in this case, did we start with, okay, you definitely want/need paid media and SEO, or did we start with one and just kind of add as their needs arose?
So we actually iterated on the initial strategy for the scope of the engagement. So we signed 2 contracts. I think another strength is kind of being able to do that very quickly, turn these engagements around if they're needed. But we started with a more conservative approach to the program.
Sure.
And then when we noticed certain results and spoke about other ways to improve. We expanded the engagement further to other disciplines.
Yeah.
Nice.
Talking about that pivoting, met, touch base, said, hey, we want to, produce different results, and this is how we're going to get there.
Right.
And you made it happen.
How long was this
Time frame.
engagement? Yeah.
Time frame, good question. I think it was around a quarter.
A quarter? Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Measurement terms.
And then what was like the post-mortem like? Like how long was that? Like the reporting we may have
Right.
provided, etc.
That would be within a month.
Okay.
We want to make sure that the client receives a full comprehensive report that talks about how all the channels worked individually and together, together with the learnings and other tips and recommendations for any future iterations of the event. And two, a lot of events do like to have at least a paid search campaign live after the event is completed for a week or two, kind of signaling to be on the lookout for the next year's offering.
Yeah.
For those who might still be looking at content from the conference.
Yeah. Like you just said, content for the conference. I'm sure that is like a major thing that they're then,
Right.
pushing out
Right.
as a result of.
Right.